Welcome to today's Explainer. Okay, we're diving straight into something truly profound today. We're unpacking a framework from ancient Buddhist philosophy, but we're going to look at it through a very specific lens. We're looking at spiritual awakening, not as some vague, mystical, head-in-the-clouds experience, but actually as a precise mathematical equation. Yeah, you heard me right, a literal matrix. The source material we're exploring breaks down the ultimate state of human realization into an incredibly structured step-by-step system known as the 3 rounds, 12 manifestations. It is this beautiful logical roadmap, and by the end of this, you're going to see exactly how these pieces snap together to form the ultimate criteria for enlightenment.
But before we get into the math of it all, I really want to ask you a question. Is just knowing the truth complete? Just think about that in your own life for a second. When you figure out a fact, like, when you realize why you're stressed out at work, or you learn a new piece of information, is that the end of the journey? We tend to really celebrate that aha moment of simply knowing a fact. But as we're about to see, according to this ancient framework, recognizing a fact is never truly enough. Actually, scratch that. It's just the very beginning. So here's our roadmap for today. 1. Is knowing the truth enough? 2. The 3 knowledges. 3. Duties in the Noble Truths. 4. 3 rounds, 12 manifestations. And finally, 5. Complete enlightenment. Let's get right into it.
Part 1. Is knowing the truth enough? The limits of mere awareness.
Right off the bat, the standard here is incredibly high. The text states, knowing the truth alone is incomplete. You must also know what to do and act until the duty is fully accomplished. This right here, this is the core philosophy of our entire explainer today. True mastery requires exactly 3 things. First, you have to know the truth. Second, you have to know what to actually do with that truth, identifying your duty. And third, you have to execute that duty until you literally cross the finish line. No half measures.
Moving on to part 2, Jnana 3, clear insight, the 3 knowledges. So in the original texts, this concept of clear insight is called jnana. Now, please don't let the ancient vocabulary intimidate you. Jnana simply translates to clear insight, or wisdom that understands things exactly as they are in reality. It's absolutely not about guessing, and it's not about blind faith. It is crystal clear, direct comprehension. And according to the source, this clear insight has to operate in 3 very distinct phases. And here are those 3 sequential steps. Look at how perfectly logical this flow is. Step 1 is sakajnana, knowing what the truth actually is. This is just the raw awareness of reality. Then, step 2 is kichajnana, which is knowing what duty to perform based on that truth. So the insight evolves, right? It goes from passive observation into active responsibility. And finally, step 3 is katajnana, knowing the duty is completed. This is that supreme realization that the work is 100% done. Awareness, action, completion. Boom, boom, boom. That brings us to part 3, duties in the Noble Truths, the 4 truths and their required actions. You see, the 4 Noble Truths aren't just passive philosophical statements you ponder. They are actual commands for action. Just look at how they map out here. First, suffering. Your duty isn't to just complain about it. The duty is to comprehend it fully. Second, the cause of suffering. The duty there is to abandon it. Third, the cessation of suffering. The duty is to realize it, to experience it directly for yourself. And fourth, the path leading to the end of suffering. The duty is to develop it, to actually walk that path. Every single truth has a matching, non-negotiable action attached to it. All right, part 4, 3 rounds, 12 manifestations, the ultimate matrix. This is where it all comes together. It really comes down to this simple yet incredibly profound math equation. 3 knowledges multiplied by the 4 noble truths equals exactly 12 manifestations. The ancient texts refer to this as the 3 rounds and 12 manifestations. Basically, it means that for a person to reach ultimate purity, they have to cycle their clear insight through all 3 of those phases for every single one of the 4 truths. Let's walk through this master matrix together because, honestly, it is truly a thing of structural beauty. It's like a giant puzzle. Take the first row, suffering. To complete this row, you first must know the truth that suffering exists. Then, you gotta know your duty is to comprehend it. And finally, you must know with absolute certainty that you have successfully comprehended it. Now move to the second row, the cause. You know it's the cause, you know it must be abandoned, and you know you've abandoned it. Third row, cessation. You know it must be realized, and you know you have fully realized it. And the final row, the path. You know the path, you know it must be developed, and you know you have completely developed it. 3 columns, 4 rows, 12 precise, distinct intersections of profound insight. There's no skipping a single box in this entire matrix. Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, Complete Enlightenment, the benchmark of purity. The source material makes a really striking point here. It notes that as long as this 12-part vision of knowledge was not completely pure and perfect, the Buddha did not declare that he had reached supreme enlightenment. He literally held himself to the absolute rigor of this exact matrix. It was only, and strictly only, when that 12-part insight was perfectly pure across all 3 rounds and all 4 truths that he finally declared supreme enlightenment. To quote the text directly, "When this vision of knowledge was completely pure, I declared that I had awakened the supreme complete enlightenment and set the wheel of Dhamma in motion." The texts state that this wheel, once set in motion by someone who has actually completed these 12 manifestations, cannot be turned back by any ascetic, divine being, or literally anyone else in the world. The absolute certainty of this enlightenment comes directly from the exhaustive, flawless completion of that 3x4 matrix we just explored. There is just no room for doubt when every single truth has been recognized, acted upon, and fully completed. So, what does this all mean for us? As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought based on the ancient wisdom we've just unpacked. Think about your own life. Whatever challenges you're facing right now, are you just stopping at knowing the truth? Are you just gathering facts and, admiring your own awareness? Or are you identifying the duty required by that truth and ruthlessly following it through to absolute completion? The blueprint for mastery is right here, and it's crystal clear. It requires the truth, the duty, and the completion. Don't just stop at round 1. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today, and I highly encourage you to keep questioning, keep learning, and for sure, keep completing your duties.